Mastering product release control. Someone in this organization is secretly controlling our product release velocity. Who within our organization is responsible for developing and implementing the key performance indicators, KPIs, and metrics that allow us to measure and track the velocity or speed of our product release process, in order to achieve operational excellence? The responsibility for developing and implementing key performance indicators, KPIs, and metrics to measure and track the velocity or speed of the product release process falls on a combination of stakeholders within an organization. These stakeholders work together to ensure that the KPIs and metrics are aligned with the organization's goals and objectives, and that they provide accurate and actionable insights to drive operational excellence. Product owners/managers. Product owners or managers are responsible for defining the product vision, roadmap, and requirements. They work closely with cross-functional teams to ensure that the product release process is aligned with customer needs and business objectives. As part of this role, they are responsible for identifying and developing KPIs and metrics that measure the product release process velocity, such as cycle time, the time taken to complete a product release; lead time, the time taken to move an item from the backlog to deployment; deployment frequency, the number of times a product is deployed to production within a given time frame; mean time to recovery, MTTR, the average time taken to resolve issues or defects in the product release process. Release managers. Release managers are responsible for planning, coordinating, and managing the product release process. They work closely with product owners, development teams, and quality assurance teams to ensure that the product is released on time, within budget, and meets the required quality standards. Release managers are responsible for implementing and tracking KPIs and metrics, such as release cycle time, the time taken to complete a product release; release success rate, the percentage of successful releases versus failed releases; defect density, the number of defects per unit of code or functionality; release velocity, the speed at which a product is released to production. Development team leads. Development team leads are responsible for managing the development teams and ensuring that they are working efficiently and effectively to deliver high-quality products. They work closely with release managers and product owners to identify areas for improvement in the product release process and develop KPIs and metrics to measure progress, such as code health metrics, metrics that measure the quality and maintainability of the codebase; code coverage, the percentage of code that is covered by automated tests; code review effectiveness, the percentage of code reviews that result in significant improvements; development team velocity, the speed at which the development team delivers functional code; quality assurance team leads. Quality assurance team leads are responsible for ensuring that the product meets the required quality standards. They work closely with release managers, development team leads, and product owners to identify areas for improvement in the product release process and develop KPIs and metrics to measure quality, such as defect leakage rate, the percentage of defects that make it to production; test coverage, the percentage of code that is covered by automated tests; test effectiveness, the percentage of tests that result in defects being identified; quality metrics, metrics that measure the overall quality of the product release process. DevOps teams. DevOps teams are responsible for ensuring the smooth operation of the product release process, from development to production. They work closely with release managers, development team leads, and quality assurance team leads to identify areas for improvement in the product release process and develop KPIs and metrics to measure efficiency and effectiveness, such as mean time to detection, MTTD, the average time taken to detect issues or defects in the product release process; mean time between failures, MTBF, the average time between failures or issues in the product release process; deployment frequency, the number of times a product is deployed to production within a given time frame; infrastructure metrics, metrics that measure the performance and availability of the infrastructure supporting the product release process; analytics and reporting teams. Analytics and reporting teams are responsible for providing data-driven insights to stakeholders across the organization. They work closely with the above stakeholders to develop and implement KPIs and metrics, and to provide regular reporting and analysis to drive operational excellence. Governance and executive teams. Governance and executive teams are responsible for overseeing the overall product release process and ensuring that it is aligned with the organization's goals and objectives. They work closely with the above stakeholders to review and approve KPIs and metrics, and to ensure that they are accurate, relevant, and actionable. In summary, the responsibility for developing and implementing KPIs and metrics to measure and track the velocity or speed of the product release process is a shared responsibility across multiple stakeholders within an organization. These stakeholders work together to ensure that the KPIs and metrics are aligned with the organization's goals and objectives, and that they provide accurate and actionable insights to drive operational excellence.